and welcome to Win Over Depression. I am your host, Tamara Trotter. Today, we'll be talking about 5 ways to press through the pain. And so, all of us experience pain in our lives. It's inevitable, but we have to figure out how to not allow the pain to derail our spirit and our heart. And even though the pain has the ability to do that, when you suffer with a mental illness, you simply cannot afford for it to be a long-lived reaction. And so you know that I like to be transparent in my podcast episodes. And so recently I was speaking to a very close friend about pain and continuing on because I've personally been experiencing a rough patch. And there was something that she told me that truly resonated with me. And what she said is find joy in the small things, whether it's a cup of coffee, maybe it's just watching a movie, listening to your favorite music, or just giving someone a phone call. And so I really appreciated the conversation that I had with her, and it actually made me think and to start to feel better, because how often do we pause to find joy in what's small in our lives? And so when was the last time that you watched the sun rise or a sunset? Truly a beautiful sight to see. So actually, that is the first way that we push through the pain. Find joy in the small things. The next way that we push through the pain is that we recognize the pain and we begin to heal ourselves by remembering how strong we are and how resilient we are. And the fact that we have made it this far in our lives and there's so much going on, yet we're still here. And we have to be aware that life is comprised of a journey of many miles with different points in time where we learn from situations and circumstances. And we know that eventually sadness and pain will come into our lives just based on our age, based on our parents or our loved ones aging, just based on the number of accidents that happen. And so we have to, as those who suffer with a mental illness, be aware and actually be proactive. And I know I talk about that a lot, but be proactive, ready, willing, and able to press through. Because the moment that we give up and give in, we allow all of the negativity to permeate our mind and take us to a very dark place. A place that is next to impossible to get out of. And so we can get out of the dark place, but we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we end up in that dark place. And so the second way that we press through is to realize that disappointment is also part of life. Yet we still have to, again, be proactive and not allow disappointments to put us so far behind that it starts to affect us emotionally and physically. So our mind can really play tricks on us. And I've said this throughout many of my episodes, because sometimes our mind is our worst enemy. Our mind convinces us in many circumstances about things that just are not there, that are not true. And once we start to almost meditate on that, it just puts us again in that place where we don't want to be. So we have to recognize that disappointment will happen, but we have to be prepared to fight the disappointment through our actions and by continuing to move forward and push forward, knowing that that's the only way that we can survive. Let's talk about survival for a minute. Survival is really a crucial component of overcoming the circumstances and the symptoms of depression. You have to always think about how much you want to survive and how much you cannot give in. Because on any given day, you can just feel like it's just not worth it. And when we talk about joy coming in the morning, that's exactly what we're talking about. Just hold on and hold out for that better day that inevitably will come. But if at our darkest moment, we decide that we can no longer be here on this earth, it makes it very easy for us to follow that exact step, because we're already feeling weak and we're already doubting ourselves. And it just makes it easier to take that next natural step. But it really isn't a natural step. Suicide is not a natural step. So we have to make sure that we have excluded it from our mind and our vocabulary. And whenever it sinks in or pops up, we have to suppress it. And so in order to do that, we must be mindful of who we allow to pour into our lives and influence our decisions. And so the other way that we press through is through having an accountability coach. And I cannot stress it enough. If you're feeling down and out, you must reach out to your accountability coach and don't make any movement. Do not act on anything that you're feeling until you have gotten a hold of that specific person. So if you do not have an accountability coach, I highly recommend that you find that one person that you trust with all of your heart, that you know is going to help you to guard your heart, and let that person know that you'll be reaching out to them in times of need. And I've just been really disappointed with what's happening around me in the media, personally, professionally at times. And it can really make you feel disillusioned. But that's why we have to remember that everybody has a purpose, and we have to think about whether or not we're living up to our truest purpose and potential. So the time now is to act on whatever that might be, whether it's to start the book you've been waiting for, open the business you've been talking about for years, become a motivational speaker. If you don't take the first step, you cannot get to the second, third, fifth, and 10th step. You don't have to know all of the answers, but you do have to be ready to act and to move forward. So, we must find joy in the small thing. We need to find an accountability coach, someone that we trust, who can help us on this journey of life. We have to have faith that tomorrow will be a different story, and that we'll wake up feeling better and brighter. We have to remember to get those 15 minutes of sunshine every single day. And we have to keep on going without fail. We cannot give up, we cannot give in, and we can't stop. So for your homework for this episode, I'd like for you to write down 5 ways that you will continue to press through the pain. I want you to find that accountability coach if you don't already have one. And I'd like you to Complete this assignment in the next 5 days. I never like to end my podcast without thanking you so very much for listening. I am growing by leaps and bounds, and I am so very excited. Please continue listening. Share this podcast with a friend or with the group. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Win Over Depression. Go to my website, Win Over Depression, and go to the blog and find hundreds of encouraging messages that will keep you going. If you would like to help this podcast grow even more, consider becoming a sponsor at patreon.com. That's www.patreon.com/Tamara Trotter. Tamera. Trotter. Trotter. You can also find me on Pinterest at TT Mental Health Expert, as well as Twitter, LinkedIn, and many other virtual platforms. Remember, stay in the game of life. We only get one life to live, and we need to live it to our fullest. Be encouraged, my friend. You are important. You are all that you can be right now. It's in front of you, but you have to pull it out. You are special. You are in the right place at the right time, and you need to be aware that if a door closes, a window will certainly open. I'll see you next time. Hang in there, my friend.